It is recap and breakdown time for UFC Seattle this past Saturday. Obviously, main event. Izzy ADESANYA, Joe PYFER. We'll get into that. Obviously, we're going to start early prelim, first fight of the night, all the way down to the main event. Got my trusty notes as always. Had to rewatch a few of these fights. I was a busy man. Busy man on Saturday. I was doing some media, for local MMA show. Shout out Carnage Fight Series. Great show. Great show. So that was fun. Was keeping up with this. Was trying to see what was going on with RAF. Trying to keep up with Brian Battle and the PFL. I had a lot of stuff to keep my eyes on. So busy Saturday, but we are fully recapped and ready to go. Let's get right into it. First fight of the night. Women's strawweight. Alexia Thanera versus Bruna Brazil. Now, this fight, I picked Alexia to win by decision. Would you looky there? I was correct. Good start to the night. Let's go over some notes, shall we? There was immediate pressure, and they were in opposite stances. They came out in opposite stances. That happened a lot on this show. There was a lot of DC and Dominic Cruz talking about the outside foot battle and the lead hand battle for a southpaw versus orthodox. You heard that a lot. And it started in this first fight, and it was kind of a trend the rest of the night. So that's something we'll probably touch on a few more times. Both were swinging heavy, but good trips from Thanera. She got a lot of takedowns, was doing good at taking Brazil down and keeping her there, and really using her grappling to get away with a victory here. Brazil's punches had more pop on them, though. She was probably the better striker, with more, like I said, there's more pop, more power, more oomph, more sauce, more juice on her shots. Every time she landed, it looked like they're doing a little bit more damage. That's probably why Alexia was going a lot more towards the groundwork and the takedowns. Thanera ended the first round on top. She got the takedown, of course, ended that round on top. She got a takedown, I believe, in every single one of these rounds. She was putting pressure on heavy still. Even in the second round, she came out heavy pressure. Like I said, looking to close that distance, looking to clinch, looking to get some takedowns. She wanted this fight on the ground. She did have, I'm not taking away from her striking, though. She did have some good combos of her own, but I think she just knew that the grappling gap, she was going to be the better grappler here and knew that was a safer way to victory. So I had her winning both the first two rounds. And again, more of the same in the third. She was putting on the pressure. She was catching a lot of Brazil's kicks using to take her down. I even have Brazil looks defeated. She just kind of looked like she couldn't figure it out. She knew this wasn't going to go her way, and she's going to have to catch something crazy, which she almost did because she throws a spinning back kick and hits Thanera right in the face as she's going in for a takedown. But it indeed did not knock her out, and Thanera would get a takedown and ended up winning this fight by unanimous decision. So that was a perfect prediction for me. I kind of forgot I predicted this one perfectly. But yeah, I got that right. Alexia Thanera beating Bruna Brazil in the first fight of the night by decision. Let's move on. Next fight of the night. Oh, a lot to talk about here. Bantamweights, Ricky Simón, Adrian Yanez. Before I even get into the notes, I picked Ricky Simón to win this fight by decision. That was my pick. I'm just saying that now before I get into the notes. Both were very bouncy, very twitchy when they came out in their stances. A lot of feints, a lot of bouncing around, up and down level changes, and Yanez came out real low in his stance, real hunched over because he knew Simón was looking for takedowns, so he had his stance ready to defend those when needed. Simón had very fast hands, I thought, as well. His combos looked clean. Yanez was, like I said, was ready for the takedown and did a lot of switching of his stances a lot in this fight. Simón put on a lot of pressure, and Yanez was doing a great job at trying to counterpunch him on the way in while Yanez was looking for those takedowns. Simón is looking for those takedowns. And I had it a close round one, but I gave the first round to Adrian Yanez. So I had him up. I had him winning round one. That's important. We'll get into that. But I had him winning round one. Round two. I said Yanez looks confident, and he was doing great at counterpunching again like he was doing in the first round. Simón did eventually get his takedown and landed some nice elbows and had some good cage control and got another takedown off of that. Doing good knees in the clinch as well. I literally have here, Simón needs to wrestle, Yanez needs to strike. End of round two, I gave that one 10-9 to Ricky Simón. So I had it one round each. So the third round was going to be the deciding factor of who wins this fight. I said hot start, Yanez looks fast and clean. Daniel Cormier and Dom says it was 2. They were talking on commentary like they had it 2-0 for Adrian Yanez. They said Ricky Simón did not win the first round. They said Ricky Simón did not win the second round. That's very interesting because I gave Ricky Simón the second round, and we'll talk about the scorecards. A lot of judges, 2 of the judges gave Ricky Simón the first round as well. So it's very, very interesting that everybody had a bunch of different opinions on this fight. I said Simón's striking isn't looking bad. It's looking solid. Simón gets cut on his eye. And every time they hit each other, they were just thudding shots. They were loud. Like, these guys were throwing heat at each other, and they were landing some good exchanges. Yanez, again, was doing good shot defense, trying to defend the takedown from Ricky Simón. Yanez does drop Simón in the last 10 seconds, almost finishes him. He's landed big shots on the ground. Simón shoots in like for a desperation single leg, but that is the end of the round. So I gave that round 10-9 to Adrian Yanez. So I had it 29-28 Yanez. This fight, as you can see, ended up being a draw. Now, here's my problem with this. Because 2 judges had Ricky Simón winning the first round and the second round, which I disagree with. I don't believe that was correct. I believe he won the second and lost the first. Those same 2 judges gave round 3 to Adrian Yanez a 10-8. That is not a 10-8. Just because he rocked him and hurt him at the very last couple seconds of the fight, that is not a 10-8. A 10-8, it's very hard for me to want to give something a 10-8. A 10-8 would be like Yanez would just be piecing up Simón. Every shot he's throwing is landing, doing damage, taking him down, slamming him, smothering him on the ground. Just like absolutely lopsided. That was not a lopsided round at all. Like, that is not a 10-8. And that screwed up the scorecards because those guys gave it a 10-8, which ends up making it a draw. So it's so weird because then the third judge's scorecards were a little bit different, obviously. So if you would have mixed and matched some of these scorecards, Adrian Yanez would have won this fight for sure. But it just so happened the judges that were nice and gave him a 10-8 also thought he lost the first 2 rounds. So I don't know. Very interesting scorecards. I do not believe this was a draw at all, which a lot of people don't from what I've seen. A lot of people upset about this one. I've seen a lot of people upset. I'm thinking that Adrian Yanez won the fight. And I do agree. I didn't get to watch this one live. Like I said, I was on my way to do some media stuff. So I rewatched it yesterday now, and when I had heard about it, when the fight had happened, a lot of people I heard saying, Yanez got robbed, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, let's see. I rewatched it, and I agree. I believe Yanez won 2-1, should have won this fight. And that's coming from me, who picked Ricky Simón to win this fight. I thought Ricky Simón was going to win, and he did not. It was a draw, and I still thought he lost. I thought the last option was Ricky Simón winning this fight, so I guess you can count this one as wrong for me. It was a draw. So I said I was 1-0-1 on the night because it's a draw. Technically, I didn't get the winner right, but I didn't get the winner wrong, I guess. I don't know. Technically, it could be a loss, but it's whatever. It's whatever. Enough of that. Next one. Light heavyweights. Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. I did pick Navajo Sterling to win this fight. I picked him to win by decision, though, not by finish. Getting into the notes, I said Sterling is just a huge human being. That dude is gigantic. He's massive. He's in great shape. Scary-looking individual. And that's crazy because Bruno Lopez is huge, too. And just putting them side by side, I was like, man, Sterling is a huge guy. The white white Izzy ADESANYA. Massive. Anyway. I said both. This is what I talked about in the predictions as well, so it was cool to see this actually come to fruition. Know what I'm talking about. Both guys were calm and patient strikers. They're both usually more calm, laid-back, counter-puncher type of guys. So the beginning was kind of both of them waiting on the other one to kind of do something, which just wasn't working. But as the fight went on, I realized who the better... I knew, but you could really see it in the fight who the better striker was, and it's Navajo Sterling. He has very... I hate to use the word pretty, but it is pretty kickboxing. Like, this dude looks very good on the feet in his kickboxing. He's going to be dangerous, and he proved it in this fight, which we'll get into. There was a point where he throws a kick, and Bruno Lopez catches it, and he's trying to treetop him over. And Sterling, man, his balance was incredible. He had good takedown defense as well. And, I still think he was the better striker, though, in that fight. Defended the takedown well. So I had it 10-9 Sterling at the end of the first round. We go into the second round, and Sterling comes out throwing his stuff already. A bunch of low kicks to the calf. Looked really, really good. Lopez was more loading up on big shots. Like, Sterling was doing good combos and landing clean, calculated punches. Lopez, at this point, was starting to load up shots and look for a knockout. Again, Sterling still great takedown defense. He had good body work as well. Changing levels, going low, going high on Lopez. Really getting him thinking about what could be coming next. And then he drops Lopez with a left hand. And Goes for the he's trying to land ground and pound to finish the fight. Ends up going for a standing guillotine instead. Did not finish the guillotine. The ref was giving Lopez every chance to come back in this fight, which I didn't hate it. I know some people are upset about it. I didn't hate it. There were still points where he was actively defending, so I didn't mind it, but it did ultimately end up TKO via ground and pound for Navajo Sterling in the second round. I didn't get the method of winning right, but I got the winner right. Puts me at 2-0-1. And he did call out Kutalaba for this fight. I think that'd be a fun fight. I believe Navajo Sterling would win that fight if it happened, but I believe that would be a fun one. They should set that up. So, Sterling gets it done over Lopez, second round TKO. Has me with no losses on my record so far, and it gets very downhill from here. Next fight, Casey O'Neill, Gabriela Fernandez, women's flyweight. Where are my notes on this one? Women's flyweight. Anyway, I picked Fernandez to win this fight. I thought she was going to get it done because she was on a good little win streak, and O'Neill had been gone for a while. I believe she had, it was a knee injury, I believe. I could be wrong. But she did have an injury. She was gone for a while. So I thought Fernandez would get this fight done. As you can see, that did not happen. They come out opposite stances, so again, more DC and Dominic Cruz talking about the foot battle and the hand battle, the lead hand on lead hand, talking about it all the time. Again, they talked about it all night. O'Neill had great combo. She looked very good on the feet. I was very impressed with her striking, which I've seen her strike before, but again, it had been a while, so it was nice to see it again, and it's very crisp striking. I had Fernandez looked like she was scared to pull the trigger on some of her punches. I think she saw the speed and the technique of O'Neill and kind of got a little gun shy with her punches as well. She did have fast hands, though, so she was a good striker as well. When she did throw, they were fast, they were clean. This was both high-level striking, especially for women's MMA. And eventually O'Neill ends up rocking Fernandez with a hook and gets the knockout finish right after that. Finishes it up with some more punches to win the fight. First round knockout for Casey O'Neill in her return. It was cool to see. I like Casey O'Neill. I wish I would have picked her, but I didn't. I thought she was going to lose, unfortunately. So that does put me at 2-1-1 on the night. Good win, though, for Casey O'Neill. I'm excited to watch her fight again. She's very entertaining. Her striking, like I said, looked very well, and so did Fernandez as well. That was a fun fight. It was a quick one, but it was a fun one. An entertaining one for sure. Next. The heavyweights, Mochin Saibora. You're a great fighter, Mochin. Mochin Saibora versus Tyrell Fortune. Now, I did pick Marcin Tybura to win by decision in this fight. That's very funny, and I'll tell you why once we get to the decision. Anyway, Tybura Fortune. I have Fortune very light on his feet compared to Marcin Tybura. Tybura pressure, and Tybura is putting on the pressure, on Fortune, and Fortune uses that to get a takedown. I just have Fortune was way more athletic than Tybura, more of an athlete, not as fat, basically. He does good at controlling. Tybura gets some good ground and pound. Tybura did land some good knees, and the clinches are up against the cage. And I have already looks tired. And then Paramount glitch, of course, because as I was watching this, Paramount did glitch at some point. This happened multiple times for me, so shout out Paramount. But it did glitch at one point. Anyway, 10-9 Fortune, first round is how I scored that. Round 2, Tybura putting on more pressure. I believe he was the better striker. It got to the point where Tyrell wasn't listening to his corner very well. They wanted him to strike a lot more than wrestle. He was having a lot of success in the wrestling, and they wanted him to strike, which I didn't agree with. But then again, I'm not his corner or his coach, so who cares, right? I said I literally have Fortune is nervous. Then I have a lot of switch stance from Tybura. Corner wants Fortune to strike, ? And then I have great 3-2 from Fortune. Every time he did throw his 3-2, it looked good. Lead hook, rear cross looked great. That was landing money for him. Not as much action this round, but I saw it at 10-9 Fortune. So I had him up 2 rounds. Then we go into round 3. We had a quick clinch from Fortune, go straight to the clinch to start round 3. Tybura was doing good body work, just holding him and landing real shots to the body, staying active. Tybura, again, was putting on the pressure. He was good for that all night. I disagree with Fortune's corner to strike, but we kind of talked about that already. Fortune does get his takedown. Tybura gets right back up. Good shots in the clinch from Fortune. Again, I had another close round. I gave that one to Tybura. I had that one 10-9 Tybura. So I had Tybura Fortune winning this fight 29-28 by decision. And again, I picked Tybura to win this fight, so I was like, dang, that sucks. We get to the official scorecards, and they announce Marcin Tybura as the winner. And I was like, hey, I disagree, but I'll take a win. And it's awkward because, like, he's in there, the crowd kind of, like, boos a little bit, and then Tybora's, like, the only one in the cage. Like, nobody's standing in the cage with him. And I even think he looks at, like, DC or somebody. He's like, you're not going to interview me? Like, he says something and starts laughing. Tyrell Fortune already leaves the cage. They call him back in, send him back to the middle, and Bruce Buffer's like, I've made a mistake. There's been a mix-up. And they redo the scorecards, and Tyrell Fortune wins by unanimous decision. So they blue-balled me. I really thought I got that one right. I thought Marcin Tybura somehow won that fight, and I was going to get out of there with a win. But unfortunately, I do not. It drops me to 2-2-1. That's something you see a lot. When you see the scorecards get mixed up, that's kind of funny. But, hey, it happens. Nobody's perfect. A lot of people were saying that was Buffer's fault. I think that could have been a lot of on the judges and the scorecard mix-up as well. I don't know if that's all on Buffer. But, hey, that dude's been doing this forever and never messes up. So, even if it was his fault, like, let's cut him some slack. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Next fight. Lightweights. Chase Hooper, Lance Gibson Jr. Again, my prediction for this was a chupa. Chase Hooper, first round submission. That did not happen, as you can see. My thing was, too, I said if Hooper can't get his takedown, he's cooked. And guess what? He couldn't get his takedown, and he got cooked. They start out, Hooper throwing his typical kicks. He likes to throw a lot of front kicks and teep kicks. He was doing a lot of that. And then I literally have a Gibson defense takedown. Because I knew, like I said, if Hooper can't get his takedown, he is not a striker, bro. He's going to get pieced up. He did throw a good head kick, though, but didn't really work. I said Hooper has a weak 1-2 to set up kick or a takedown. It was very, like, girly looking. I don't want to be disrespectful, but he's kind of like, like he threw that and then would throw the kick with intent or shoot on a shot. So I was like, wow, what a telltale sign that you do not care about this 1-2 and you're trying to set something up. Kind of could see that coming. But anyway, big elbow from Gibson hurts Hooper, and then he lands 2 knees to the face for the finish, and that's a Gibson round 1 KO. So I've just now gotten 3 fights incorrect in a row. Very disappointing, very disgusting. But Chase Hooper, man, this sucks. I like Chase Hooper. He's entertaining. He's a very good grappler. He's still young. He's promotable. But, man, 2 fights in a row now he's got knocked out. And 2 fights in a row that I've picked him to win by submission. So, very unfortunate, the fall of Chase Hooper. I hope that's not a thing that's starting. I hope he can bounce back. Dude, give this dude a pud, please, so he can win. I want to see Chase Hooper win. But, hey, shout out Lance Gibson, though. That was a good performance. And it was funny because the crowd started booing him because Chase Hooper's, like, from the Washington area. And Lance Gibson's like, guys, you don't have to boo me. And then, like, name drops the hospital that he was born in, which is, like, apparently, like, around the corner or something from the arena. And the whole crowd's like, ah, we love him. So, like, that was classic UFC fans. But anyway, yeah, Lance Gibson gets it done. First round knockout over Chase Hooper. I get that wrong. I'm sitting at 2-3-1 on this fight. Or on this show, excuse me. So, not a good start. Let's move on. Oh, lots to talk about here. Lightweights, Ignacio Bahamondes and Tafik Musayev. Crazy fight. Absolute bloodbath of a fight. Fight of the night. A lot to talk about. We'll go round by round. Anyway. Which is funny here because I even have right here, I was confused for a second. I have Dom calls fight of the night. Like he called it, like this could be fight of the night. So Dominic Cruz might have predicted the future there a little bit. But anyway, I said lots of feints from both guys, throwing big shots. Ignacio, way bigger than Tafik. Just a long, lanky guy, and he's very well-rounded too, and his striking was very good. I had twitchy and stance switching from both sides. They were like kind of match each other. Like one would switch stance, one would switch back. They were getting each other's heads, trying to test each other out for the beginning of the fight. And then which again led to another hand fight conversation between Dom and DC when they would be in opposing stances, lead foot on lead foot, lead hand. They talked about it again. That was like the main topic of the prelims, I feel like. So that was funny. Great clinch work. Musayev is doing good counter punching as well. Musayev was catching all of Bahamondes' kicks, trying to use them to get takedowns and stuff. But Bahamondes was so tall, there was times he would lift them up and his feet would still be on the ground just because how tall he was. Musayev does eventually get a late takedown and get some ground and pound with it. I said it was a fun close round, but I had 10-9 Musayev after the first round. Round 2. Bahamondes drops Musayev early and gets a good ground and pound. And then that's when it all goes downhill and the bad things started happening. Musayev gets dropped, boom, is getting rocked, gets back to his feet. Bahamondes tries to take him down. This dude grabs the cage. I swear it was like both hands. You could see the cage shake. Totally stops the takedown, and I get it. It's human instinct to grab the cage, but that was a bad fence grab. Like, that one changed the whole outcome of the fight. Like, say Bahamondes had him hurt. Say he takes him down, clean, boom, and starts getting him on ground and pound. He could have won the fight right there. You never know. You just never know. And they didn't catch it. He didn't get DQ'd, didn't get point deducted, nothing like that. Crazy work from Musayev. Crazy work. Anyway. Yeah, it stopped. I even have stopped to finish. Musayev, they get back to the feet. Of course, Musayev is catching kicks to get his takedowns. Bahamondes looks for a guillotine, doesn't really work. Good elbows from Musayev. Cuts Bahamondes bad. Like, I mean, bad. They were covered in blood. The octagon, the mats, the canvas, everything was covered in blood. He cut him up bad with that elbow. Yeah. Triangle attempt from Bahamondes. Doesn't work. And then Musayev throws a headbutt. He tripods up to get some space in between his head, and Bahamondes shoots right back down. Boom, hits headbutt Bahamondes on that open cut. So 2 totally illegal moves and fouls within like a minute of each other. No point deduction, no warning, no DQ, no nothing. Wow. Class act is what we got right here. Musayev, I have 2 terrible fouls, but he had great ground and pound and a lot of blood in this fight. Like I said, it was getting absolutely crazy. Obviously, with no DQ, no point deduction, no nothing like that, I got to score it like that stuff didn't happen, I guess. So I have it 10-9 Musayev again. He's won both the first and the second round. Round 3, Bahamondes throws a spinning back elbow. Musayev gets the takedown, more ground and pound. Bahamondes need to get up, and he just couldn't. He cannot get up off the ground. They're both absolutely covered in blood. Bahamondes does get a sweep towards the end and goes for a rear naked choke. He does not get it. I still had that round for Musayev. 10-9. I had him winning 30-27. Again, he does win the fight by decision, but he should have been DQ'd. He should have, at the very least, points deducted. I mean, horrible fence grab, the headbutt, just crazy acts from Musayev in this fight. Very disappointing. I did pick Bahamondes to win this fight, so it was a shame to see this go down the way it did, but hey, it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it now. But that is another one I get wrong. It puts me at 2-4-1, bro. I'm about to get the first pick in the NFL draft with this record. This is rough. But then, who comes to save the day? Who comes to save the day? None other than T-Rex. Terrence McKinney, bro. I picked Terrence McKinney first round, TKO, knockout. Would you look right there? 24 seconds. My notes. I have Terrence effing McKinney. That's the first note I wrote. Head kick to ground and pound, first round, TKO. For Terrence McKinney. Dude, literally 24 seconds. Not much to talk about. Typical, vintage, classic Terrence McKinney here. Getting a quick finish like he does. Still no performance of the night or knockout of the night bonus for him. He's never gotten one, and all he does is finish people in the first round. If he wins, he's finishing them in the first round. So somehow he's still never gotten a bonus for that, which is crazy. But anyway, shout out T-Rex. Entertaining fight. Great story. Great guy. And gets me another win. Breaks my losing streak here. Puts me at 3-4-1. Now, Mansour Abdulmalik versus Yusri Bagoli. Oh, man. I picked Abdulmalik to win this fight in a close decision, is what I thought was going to happen. I thought this was going to be the toughest fight he's had so far, but I thought he was going to scrape by and get it done and really test himself here, is what I thought was going to happen. But here's what happened. First, Paramount glitches, and I can't see like the first 2 minutes of the first round. I was like, maybe that's just me. So I tried to replay it again. Same thing. First 2 minutes I cannot see. I don't know if that was for everybody. I don't know if that was just on the playback because I had to rewatch this fight. I don't know. But that happened to me, so I couldn't see the first 2 minutes of the first round. But I do have Mansour is struggling to find his openings. Bagoli was so tall and so long. He could not get his openings to find what he wanted at all. Bagoli, again, like I said, tall, long. He's absolutely huge. Great calf kicks, though, from him. He's like a world champion kickboxer. I believe he has a win over Alex Pereira in kickboxing, so that's a big thing people like to talk about. His striking just looked incredible. He looked very good, very confident, very comfortable on the feet, striking hands and feet. His kicks were great as well. And I have Mansour just looks lost. So first round, obviously 10-9, Yusri Bagoli. Now, round 2, again, he's keeping his range very well, landing great calf kicks. Malik was looking to get the takedown in the clinch. I'm pretty sure he was a Division I level wrestler. He was just struggling to get his entries because, like I said, Bagoli's so tall, so long, he couldn't get inside to get that clinch or that takedown that he wanted. Malik started pressuring more, trying to get more, I don't want to say wild or desperate, but that was kind of the vibe I was getting here. He eventually gets his takedown, goes to the back, gets too high. Magoli slips out the back. Now they're back on the feet. Magoli, all of his punches are landing clean. He's landing great knees as well and ends up dropping Mansoor late. But that's the end of the round. They asked Mansoor make sure he's okay to keep going. He is okay to keep going. They go to round 3. But, of course, I have that 10-9 for Bergoli as well. So he's up 2 rounds. Mansoor is going to need a finish here if he wants to win this fight and make me look like I know what I'm talking about. I have Malik looks tired, hurt, frustrated. Like, going in the 3rd round, he just looked defeated. He really did. Bergoli just steps ahead of him everywhere on the feet. He just looked miles ahead. Malik does get a takedown after eating a bunch of shots. I have Malik is out on his feet. Like, he was just kind of stumbling, bumbling around. I don't know how. He was still going. But they get in the clinch, and Yusri lands a big knee that puts out Mansoor and gets himself a 3rd round TKO finish over Mansoor Abdul Malik, which sucks. I picked Mansoor, so I got that wrong. That puts me at 3-5-1 on the night. Bergoli looks so much. We talked about him fighting Alex Pereira. He fights a lot like him. Just the way he moves around, the way he incorporates those knees, his punches. This dude's dangerous. He's definitely someone to keep watching. That's a name to look for right there. Yusri Bergoli, dangerous man. Keep an eye out for him. He makes me a loser. Makes me a loser because I get that one wrong. It is what it is. We move on. Like I said, I'm sitting at 3-5-1. Gross. But it does get better. Because here's a fight that I predicted perfectly. Juliana Rosa versus Lorraine Douglas. I picked Douglas 1st round knockout or TKO. And would you looky there? That's exactly what happened. We're back. Here we go. The notes. Great leg kicks from Douglas early. And what I talked about in my predictions. His stance, man. He's very tight boxing stance. That paid dividends here for him. He has crisp boxing. Crisp boxing. Rosa's striking was crisp and fast as well. He didn't look bad on the feet. Just Douglas was a better striker, I do believe. But Rosa did not by any means did he look bad on the feet. I think with a lot of other people, he would have done a lot better, but he just ran into Douglas here. Right hand rocks Rosa. Douglas has a right hand that rocks him. Every punch seems to hurt him. When he would land, boom, and you would kind of see Rosa's eyes roll back, or he'd kind of stumble or have to reset. So Douglas was hitting hard. That dude was packing a punch and doing some damage. He got dropped. I have dropped by a jab. Jab again. 3 times. This dude threw 3 jabs, and every single one of them either dropped the Rosa or rocked him bad, and then he ends up using that to get the 1st round KO. So Lorraine Douglas gets the 1st round knockout over Juliana Rosa. Perfect prediction for me. Puts me at 4-5-1. Lorraine Douglas might have the best jab of all time. That was insane. Jab, sits him down, gets him back up. Jab, sits him down, gets him back up. Jab. Like, bro, 3 jabs in a row. That was crazy. Crazy work, but very impressive from Lorraine Douglas. Again, another name to watch out for. That guy was fun to watch, and he's got a good little streak going now, too. So, anyway, let's move on. Another perfect prediction. Another one. Great predictions here from Showtime. Great predictions. We got Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price. This was the end of the Michael Chiesa farewell tour. His final fight in front of his people of Seattle. How does he do? How does he get it done? Well, he does exactly what I say he was going to do. 1st round submission for Michael Chiesa. Took him a little over a minute. They both ended up retiring after this fight. Nico Price did as well. Just nobody cared or saw about it because UFC didn't give him any time to talk about it. They already had the video package prepared for Michael Chiesa like he was he's a pioneer of the sport. Talking about all the good things he's done, I guess. I mean, sure, bro. Sure, man. I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's Michael Chiesa. I don't ever think about Michael Chiesa. He's just been around for a while, so yeah, I guess it's cool that he gets the little, the little send-off or whatever is cool, I guess. But, yeah, Michael Chiesa gets it done. 1st round submission over Nico Price. Rear naked choke. Gets him with the rear naked choke. Price body. Nico Price went for the body lock, is what I have here. Price body lock ends up on top for a second, and then Chiesa gets it taken out of his own, gets the back, rear naked choke. A little over a minute. Not much to talk about there. Chiesa gets it done. Another good prediction for me. Puts me at 5-5-1 for the night. Heading into the co-main event. Boy, was it something. I would like to start this by apologizing to Alexa Grasso so she doesn't hurt me. I said that she was on the come down and she was going to lose this fight to Macy Barber. I picked Macy Barber by decision to win this fight. And I said women's MMA, of course, it's going to be a decision. But, doing what I do, being totally disrespectful. Alexa Grasso. You know what? Let's go notes by notes, so we'll build up to it, We'll build up. Again, opposite stances, DC and Dom. Lead hand battle. Anyway, they're both engaging well in this fight. Chris combos followed by leg kicks from Grasso. Grasso was definitely the better striker. She's the best boxer at women's flyweight. We know this, and she was proving it. But Barber was aggressing more. She wasn't shying away from the smoke at all. But Grasso throws a 1-2, and this cross, bro, knocks Macy Barber out cold. Hits her so hard, spins her around. On the way down, Grasso locks in the rear naked choke on the way down, and then finishes her that way. And just a totally, let's just make sure she's out. Rear naked choke. Like, totally unnecessary. She was out. She was absolutely knocked out. And Macy Barber was down for a minute. I mean, she was laying there forever. It was scary. Paramount was, like, zooming in on it. I'm like, guys, come on. Like, I get it. It's the fight game. We joke around about stuff. But that was scary. And Macy Barber has since posted on social media that she is okay and everything like that. That was scary to see. That was one that was the most brutal women's MMA finish I've ever seen. One of the most brutal finishes I've ever seen in general, male or female, but women's MMA for sure. Crazy work from Alexa Grasso. Yeah. And it went in the record books as a knockout as well. They said the rear naked choke was not necessary, which I totally agree. Barber was out. She did not need to get put in a rear naked choke for good measure. That was bizarre. I'm glad she's okay. I wish I would have got this fight correct. Hey, part of the fight game. Alexa Grasso still got it right when I was counting her out. So, Alexa Grasso, I do apologize. Do not kill me. Anyway, that puts me at 5-6-1. Disgusting, because you got to think, the past 2 weeks, I went like 9-4, 10-4. Now I'm at 5-6-1. This is gross. But it's okay. We end on a good note in the main event because Joe PYFER gets the TKO victory over Izzy ADESANYA, which I did predict. I predicted round 3. He gets it done in round 2. Close enough. Close enough, Close enough. Well, we'll get into the notes on ADESANYA PYFER. Round 1, great calf kicks from Izzy. Izzy, another thing that I predicted I want to talk about. I said Izzy was going to have success early being Izzy ADESANYA, and he did. He was moving around well, landing his calf kicks. He looked good. Looked like classic Izzy. He was kind of, baiting Joe PYFER to come run at him and then catch him with his punches. PYFER was looking for clinches and takedowns more, which I also kind of thought he might do just based off his last performance against Abus Magomedov. But he does look for some clinch takedowns, but Izzy was defending very well. A good knee from Izzy is where he lands a good knee on Joe PYFER. I said Izzy looks confident, but then PYFER did eventually get his takedown at the very, very end of the round. I gave the first round to Izzy. I might have just been buying into the hype that Izzy looked good, but I gave it to Izzy. PYFER did get that takedown at the end, but he didn't do anything with it. It was right at the very end and didn't land any ground and pound. And Izzy was landing his calf kicks and looking good, defended the takedown. So I gave round 1 to Izzy ADESANYA. Round 2, Izzy's putting on pressure, and the calf kicks started to add up for Izzy. There was a point where there was an eye poke for a second, and in that point of the eye poke, like they take the break or whatever. PYFER was gimping around on that lead leg. His calf was getting tore up a little bit. PYFER gets more takedown attempts. I said vintage Izzy, kinda. He's kind of looking like the Izzy we know and love. Not fully, of course, but there was some moments I was like, oh, we might have Stylebender might be back. But they started trading big shots at one point, just standing and banging. Like Izzy was eating some big shots from PYFER and landed big ones of his own. There was times where it looked like PYFER was hurt a little bit. So I was like, dude, Izzy might be back, bro. Bro, we might be back. Izzy might be back. But that did not happen. PYFER ends up hurting Izzy. Gets him up against the cage, landed big shots, gets his takedown, mounts Izzy ADESANYA, ends up taking his back, looking for the rear naked choke with a body triangle. Izzy's defending it a little bit. He's defending the choke, I should say. And then PYFER gets back to mount. Izzy bellies out, and PYFER starts landing ground and pound while Izzy ADESANYA's legs are just kicking up and down, back and forth. And they stop the fight right then and there. Joe PYFER's second round knockout, or TKO. TKO, sorry, not a knockout. TKO over Izzy ADESANYA. That put me at 6 wins. 6 correct, 6 incorrect, and then, of course, the draw. So, 6-6-1 on the night. Disgusting. I'm very, very ashamed of that, especially after being like 9-4, 10-4 for the night, or for the past 2 shows. So, that was rough, but it is what it is, man. This was a fun show. A lot of good fights. Good finishes. Izzy's fight was fun. Of course, the crazy finish from Alexa Grasso. Navajo Sterling looked good. Bagari looked good. The vintage Terrence McKinney performance. The Simone fight being a draw, I don't agree with, but it was a good fight. And then, of course, the Musayev and Bahamondes fight was a crazy, bloody fight as well. So, Casey O'Neill got the finish. A lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun. So, again, UFC Seattle was a hit. One of the best fight nights I've seen in a minute, I feel like. Wish my predictions would have a little bit better, but hey, it is what it is, man. I'm curious to see what they do at middleweight, because I was looking at the rankings the other day. A lot's going to change, because PYFER was 14 and Izzy was 4, which is just crazy. So, PYFER's going to jump up a lot. I know the UFC rankings never usually make sense, but you got to think he's going to jump up a lot. And 3 guys that are ranked at middleweight still right now are moving up to light heavyweight, like Paulo Costa's moving up. RDR's supposed to be moving up. Robert Whittaker's supposed to be moving up. So that's like 3 guys that are going to get bumped from the rankings and go to light heavyweight. So there's going to be a lot of fresh faces coming up. So that's going to let Joe PYFER move up a lot. So it's kind of I wonder what's next for him. How far do they bump him up after beating Izzy? Because Izzy was 4. Do they put PYFER in the top 5? I don't know. I don't think they should. But, the UFC rankings never usually make sense. They never make sense to me, and I don't think they ever make sense to anyone. So I doubt that'll happen. But what's next for Joe PYFER? There could be a lot of fun fights there. I've seen people talk about him and Kyle Barajo. I've seen people say him and Dricus. I've seen a lot of fun stuff. That'd be a big jump for me. One fight they won't do, but I think would be very fun, would be him versus Gregory Robocop Rodriguez. They won't do that fight, but I think that'd be very fun. Two big bald dudes throwing heavy hands. Someone's definitely going to get knocked out in that fight if they were to do it. I would like to see that, but they won't do that. They're going to try to keep pushing PYFER to the top, so they'll give him more of a higher ranking guy. So, but anyway, yeah, 6-1 on the night. Not the best, actually pretty bad, I'd say. But fun card from Dana. Your mom's a fun card. Fun card from the UFC and UFC Seattle. We got more fights this weekend. We got a fight night. Chris Duncan versus Renato Moicano, which I believe is a sleeper fight. People are kind of clowning on it, saying it's a lame fight. I think it's going to be very fun. So keep an eye on that card, and keep an eye out for me to post my predictions on that card coming this week as well. And yeah, I will see you guys when I predict Chris Duncan versus Renato Money Moicano.